In the dark corner of an old antique shop, it sat inside a dusty glass cabinet. It had no name, or perhaps no one dared to call it anything. The porcelain doll behind the glass gave an eerie chill to anyone who looked at it. Its perfectly crafted face, lifeless blue eyes, and cracked lips seemed to hold a secret. The shop's owner, Mr. Henry, never offered it to his customers. He knew a terrifying story about it. When Henry first opened his shop, the doll wasn't there. One rainy night, the shop's door suddenly swung open. A woman, her face shrouded in shadows, stepped inside. She placed an old leather bag on the counter in front of Henry. In a calm voice, she said, "You need to keep this doll. There's nowhere else for it to go. I'll pay whatever it takes, but don't ever let anyone else have it." She pulled the porcelain doll out of the bag and placed it on the counter. Henry instinctively stepped back. The doll seemed to be watching him. Without another word, the woman disappeared into the night. Henry placed the doll in the furthest corner of his shop, but strange things began happening from that night onward. The lights would flicker on and off at midnight, doors would slam shut even when there was no wind, and whispers seemed to emanate from the cabinet. Locking eyes with the doll sent shivers down Henry's spine. Yet, he couldn't bring himself to throw it away. It felt as if the doll wouldn't allow it. One day, a young woman entered the shop. Her name was Sarah, and she was known for her fascination with antiques. Despite Henry's warnings, she was drawn to the doll. "This doll is special, isn't it? I can feel its energy," she said. Seeing the determination in Sarah's eyes, Henry realized it was useless to refuse her. "This doll is cursed," Henry said. "But if you insist on taking it, the responsibility is entirely yours." Sarah took the doll home. For the first few days, nothing happened. The doll sat innocently in the corner of her room. But a few nights later, Sarah began hearing strange noises. When she woke up, she noticed the doll's head had turned slightly, as if it was facing a different direction. She dismissed it as her imagination or the wind. But each passing night brought more unsettling events. One night, Sarah woke up screaming. The doll was no longer in her room. Her heart pounding, she walked into the living room. There it was, sitting in front of the fireplace, fully facing her. The flickering light of the nearby candle made its eyes gleam unnaturally. For a moment, Sarah could have sworn it smiled. Things spiraled out of control. Mirrors began to crack, electronic devices malfunctioned, and Sarah could hear the doll whispering at night. It spoke in a language she couldn't understand, but it felt like it was giving her commands. Sarah realized she had to do something before she lost her mind. Desperate, Sarah returned to Henry's shop. Henry revealed a chilling truth. The doll was an ancient talisman imprisoning a demon. Destroying it wouldn't be easy. The only way was to send it back to where it came from. Following Henry's instructions, Sarah performed an old ritual. The doll was placed in the center of a dark circle surrounded by burning candles. As Sarah recited the words, the doll's face began to crack. Black smoke seeped through the cracks, twisting and writhing like a living thing. It filled up the room, suffocatingly thick, before bursting out with a deafening scream. The doll shattered to pieces on the floor. It seemed to be over, but the look on Henry's face suggested otherwise. The doll was gone, but Sarah felt an unsettling darkness within her. Her eyes no longer sparkled the way they used to. Had the demon truly left, or had it found a new host? From that night on, Henry's shop never reopened. Sarah never spoke to anyone again. But the whispers about the doll continued to circulate in the shadows of the town. Some devils, after all, just prefer to hide.